Our weekly time for science, and today we will have a very special lesson or very special episode. حلقة خاصة جدا because today we will have what we have studied in Unit 2. Today we have studied, or up till now we have studied 2 units, which are Unit 1, which deal with mass and weight, and Unit 2, which deal with heat energy. And in this unit we have studied 2 lessons, which are Lesson 1, heat conduction, and Lesson 2, measuring temperature. So today we will have a very special episode, حلقة خاصة جدا, about what we have studied in Unit 2. We will revise again on what we have studied. We will explain all the points, all the main points, or the important points in these 2 lessons, and also we'll have very important selection of questions about this unit. So let's start with the first lesson, which is the heat conduction. heat conduction يعني توصيل الحرارة, as we have agreed. زي ما اتفقنا قلنا درس heat conduction يعني توصيل الحرارة. So let's start with a very important question. سؤال مهم جدا. Why do you feel hotness, or why do you feel coldness on catching something? For example, if you catch or hold a very hot tea, what happened? You feel hot. Why? Because heat transfer, as we have studied, from your hand or from the cup, surely from the cup to your hand. Again, why do you feel hotness and coldness? Let's study and complete them again. When you touch a hot glass of tea, you feel hot. Why? Because heat transfer, as we have studied, from your hand, or from the glass, sorry, to your hand. Again, because heat transfer from the hot glass to your hand. لما امسك حاجة سخنة, I feel hot. Why? Because heat transfer from the higher temperature object to the lower. من هنا الأعلى أكيد الجلاس أو الهوت جلاس, لكن حرارته أقل هو أكيد إيديا أنا أو جسمي أنا شخصيا. So again, because heat transfer from the hot glass to your hand. Again, when you catch a hot glass of tea, what happened? You feel hotness. Why? Because heat transfer from the hot glass to your hand. So another point. When you touch a cold glass of water or iced juice, for example, you feel cold. When you touch a cold glass of water, you feel cold. Why? Because heat transfer from what? Again, because heat transfer from your hand here. It is the higher temperature to the cold glass. هنا العكس تماما. هنا حرارة جسمي أنا هي الأعلى, لكن الكولد glass هو اللي حرارته lower أو أقل. So again, heat transfer from the higher temperature object to the lower temperature object. Again, heat transfer from the higher to the lower. Or we can say a very important definition for heat energy. It's a form of energy that transfer from the higher temperature object to the lower temperature object. Again, هي الطاقة الحرارية هي الطاقة اللي بتنتقل من اللي حرارته أعلى للجسم اللي حرارته أقل. Again, it's a form of energy that transfer from the higher temperature object to the lower temperature object. So that's a very important definition for heat energy. Another point in this lesson, we have studied the importance or the use of heat. أهمية أو استخدام الحرارة. We have studied many points in this topic. First, in our daily life, we use heat in, for example, warming the house, تدفئة المنزل. Heating water, تسخين المية. Also, we use heat in cooking, بنستخدم الهيت energy, of course, in cooking. Also, in drying the washed clothes, في تجفيف الملابس عن طريق طبعا spreading them in the sun or in the sunlight. احنا بننشرهم في وجود الشمس. Another use of heat. In the second, in the industry, بنستخدم الحرارة في الصناعة. industry يعني الصناعة. For example, in processing food, تصنيع الأغذية, processing food. Also in processing or manufacturing of glass or making glass, صناعة الزجاج أو glass industry. Glass or paper industry, صناعة الورق. Textiles industry وصناعة الأنسجة. We have many uses of heat. So now let's differentiate between heat energy and temperature. لازم نفرق كويس قوي بين كلمة الطاقة الحرارية أو heat energy و temperature, درجة الحرارة. Temperature is what? Temperature is a degree of hotness or coldness of a body. Temperature again is the degree of hotness or coldness of a body. هي درجة سخونة أو برودة أي جسم. Again, temperature is a very easy definition. تعريف سهل جدا بقول عليه is a degree of hotness or coldness of a body. هو درجة برودة أو سخونة أي جسم. So, how can we measure heat? We cannot measure heat by touch, but we can measure heat only by a very important device, جهاز مهم جدا, which is called thermometer. جهاز بنسميه thermometer, and all of us know this device. Thermometer is a very important device which is used to measure temperature. Again, temperature is measured by a very important device. جهاز مهم جدا which is a thermometer. And the thermometer is the topic of lesson 3 أو lesson 2 sorry. احنا اتفقنا قبل كده ان lesson 2 كله عن measuring temperature أو قياس الحرارة، وده هنتكلم عنه عن type of thermometer and how the thermometer is manufactured. ازاي بيتصنع أو ازاي فكرة عمله. So now let's have activity to differentiate between matters. Activity is very important. This activity says that or stick a button on a ruler, a spoon and a pencil. هستخدم 3 مواد مختلفة such as ruler plastic طبعا, spoon معلقة معدن metal and a pencil surely from wood. Using molten wax هثبت عليهم كلهم زرار عن طريق المولتن واكس. Then fix them at the edge of the container using clay. وهثبتهم في كونتينر أو في وعاء كبير باستخدام الكلي أو الصلصال. Step number 2, pour boiled water or very hot water in the container to be half filled. هصب عليهم كلهم ماء دافي أو مية سخنة جدا كمان مش بس دافية لغاية تقريبا نص الإناء. Step number 3, what happened or what we can observe and conclude, we will find that هنلاقي إن الميتال spoon gets hotter but the plastic ruler and the pencil will be less hotter or less in heat. Why? Because metal spoon is a good conductor but plastic and wood are bad conductor. So by this activity we can conclude that a very important observation, the button falls from the metallic spoon. The metallic spoon will be very hot more. Why? Because the metal spoon is a good conductor of heat but the plastic and the wood are bad conductor of heat. So we can differentiate or we can divide, ممكن أقسم كل الماترز around us into 2 types from the point of heat energy. What are they? Good conductors and bad conductor. Good conductor المواد اللي بتوصل حرارة بسرعة جدا. Bad conductor which are the material that don't allow heat to flow through or to pass easily. هي المواد اللي ما بتوصلش حرارة أو توصل لكن ببطء شديد جدا such as wood and plastic. So we can divide all materials into 2 types which are good conductors and bad conductors. So what's meant by good conductor and also what's meant by bad conductor؟ عايز اعمل definition لكل واحد منهم. وقلنا اكتر مره بنحب قوي الطالب الكرييتيف اللي بيعمل definition from his own mind من مخه هو او من دماغه هو الشخصيه. عشان اعمل definition انا عايز اقول ايه هم المواد الجود كوندكتور وايه هم المواد اللي bad conductor. Good conductor they are materials that allow heat to flow through and let heat pass easily. That's a very easy and simple definition. ايه هي المواد الجود كوندكتور؟ هي المواد اللي بتسمح بمرور الحراره. But what about the bad conductors? They are materials that don't allow heat and don't pass heat flow heat easily. يبقى الديفينيشن عكس تماما بس كل اللي هعمله انا هزود كلمه don't allow don't pass heat. بس كده كل الحكايه سهله جدا عشان اعمل definition ل good conductor و bad conductor. So now let us see the definition of each one of them. Okay? Now we have a very important definition for each one of them, good conductor and bad conductor. Good conductor of heat, such as we see now on the monitor, are materials that conduct heat and let heat flow through. Are materials that conduct heat and let heat flow through. So what about the example of good conductor? We have many examples of good conductor, such as iron, aluminum, copper, gold, silver, nickel, sodium, potassium. We can summarize ممكن ألخص كل اللي قلته إن كل الميتالز good conductor of heat. Again, what are the good conductor? They are all the metal. لكن طبعا مش ده definition احنا قلناه good conductor they are material that conduct heat and let heat flow through. تاني مين هم ال good conductor examples such as iron, aluminum, copper, gold, silver, all metal. So what about bad conductor? Bad conductor they are material that don't conduct heat and don't let heat flow through. هي المواد اللي ما بتسمحش مرور حرارة منها وبالتالي مش هتكون very hot أو less hotter than the other. So again, they are material that don't conduct heat and don't let heat flow through. Such as what? Example of bad conductor? We have many examples such as wood, glass, plastic, paper, air, and so on. Again, we have wood, glass, plastic, paper, air, wool, صوف كمان تبع الباد conductor, and all of them are bad conductors. So now We have a life application. What's mean by life application؟ معناها تطبيق حياتي. يعني كأني بدرس ساينس عشان أفهم حياتي ماشية ازاي، أو عشان أفهم ازاي أفسر كل الفينومينا، الظواهر اللي حوالينا. Such as what؟ Such as in cold countries، في الدول الباردة windows are made in double sheets. بيعملوا شبابيك فيها double sheet، يعني فيها لوحين من الزجاج with air space between them، وفي بينهم فاصل من الهواء to ensure preventing leakage of heat. Why? Because we know that glass and air, both of them are bad conductor. الاثنين bad conductor. Look here, we have a picture for this window. This window contains what? Contains two glass sheets في لوحين من الزجاج with air space between them. Why? Why glass and air and another glass one? Because we know that glass and air are both bad conductor of heat, so it will prevent heat or prevent leakage of heat. ده هيمنع تماما تسرب الحرارة. عشان كده في الكولد countries بيستخدموا double sheet window أو window with double sheets of glass. So again, give reason in cold countries we use double sheet or glass window with double sheets of glass. Surely the answer would be that because it prevents leakage of heat. Because it prevents leakage of heat، بيمنع تسرب الحرارة. Because what? Because air and glass are bad conductor of heat. So the answer now, because air is a bad conductor of heat. So another activity to know which metal is the best conducting of heat. عايز أعرف بقى دلوقتي مين هو أحسن metal بتوصيل الحرارة. Activity: put 3 rods of iron, aluminum, copper on a flame. هنحط 3 rods، ثلاث ثقان او 3 ثقان من الحديد والالومنيوم والكبر، عارفين ان كلهم جود كوندكتور، على فليم عشان اشوف مين فيهم هيبقى the best conducting heat. Look here, I have here copper, aluminum, iron, and on each one of them there is a button fixed with a molten wax. كل واحد منهم متثبت فيه زرار عن طريق molten wax، الشمع السايح او الشمع المنصهر. So now we will find that copper, the button on the copper will fall first. البutton او الزرار اللي عند الكبر هو اللي هيقع أسرع. So the copper will be the best conducting material or the best conducting metal. عشان كده الكبر كان زمان بيستخدموه in the manufacturing of cooking pots، صناعة أواني الطهي، because copper is the best conducting metal. هو أحسن معدن في توصيل الحرارة. So we can say that metals differ in their heat conduction. الميتال كمان بالرغم ان هي كلها good conductor لكن في اختلاف داخلي بينها وبين بعض. عشان كده بنقول ان الكوبر conducts heat faster than aluminum and copper conducts heat faster than iron. So we can summarize: copper is the best conducting material. Copper again is the best conducting material because copper conducts heat faster than aluminum and faster than iron and also faster than any metal. So again, the best metal in conducting heat is the copper metal. Another life application، تطبيق حياتي مهم تاني. We will find that spaces or gaps between railway tracks. بنلاقي فجوات أو فراغات بين railway tracks أو قضبان السكك الحديدية. Give reason or why. ليه بنسيب فراغات between railway tracks؟ To avoid buckling or to avoid bending. عرفنا عن طريق الاكسبيرمنتس ان all metals او all matters تقريبا او most matter، معظم المواد expand by heating، بتتمدد بالحرارة، such as iron. Look here, iron is exposed to the sun here. Iron is exposed to the sun all the summer days, so it will expand. So what happens if there is no space or gaps؟ اللي يحصل لو ما فيش space أو gaps it will cause bending، هيسبب انحناء. انحناء معناه إن القطر هو جاي بسرعة جدا ممكن يحصل accident، حوادث. So we leave gaps or leave spaces، بنسيب فراغات أو فجوات between railway tracks. Why? To avoid bending أو to avoid buckling أو to avoid twisting. كلهم بنفس المعنى، bending أو twisting أو buckling معناها انحناء. And so we avoid or prevent accident. يبقى ليه بنسيب gaps أو فجوات between railway tracks؟ to avoid bending or to avoid buckling. طب الجاب دي قد ايه تقريبا؟ بيكون تقريبا مليمتر مش اكتر من كده، يعني بسيب مسافه كبيره قوي between railway track. Imagine that there's a track, the gap is like that. So what happened in the summer days? It will expand, so it will meet each other. مش هيحصل حاجه. لكن لو هي already ما فيهاش gaps زي كده هيحصل bending او buckling، فبالتالي ممكن تعمل accident، حوادث، and it will cause many harm and many lose of spirits. ممكن تعمل خساره في الارواح لا قدر الله أو خسارة في الممتلكات. So we leave gaps or we leave spaces، بنسيب فجوات أو فراغات very small between the railway tracks. Why? Or give reason to avoid bending or to avoid buckling and thus prevent accident. And thus again prevent accident, تمنع الحوادث, because again as we know all metals expand by heat. All metals expand by heat. So another point or another picture, I have a very important picture for these gaps. Look here, I have here a gap between the railway track. Why? As I said, to avoid bending or to avoid buckling. To avoid bending or to avoid buckling. That's a very important give reason question in this syllabus this year. So now here are another gaps or another spaces between the parts of the bridge. حتى كمان أجزاء الكوبري بنسيب بينها space أو gaps. Why also? To prevent bending or to prevent buckling. عشان برضو أمنع الانحناء and prevent accidents, وكمان أمنع الحوادث. So again, any gaps between railway tracks or between the parts of the bridge, or the body of the bridge, that have a very important rule, ليها دور مهم جدا, that prevent bending or prevent buckling and also avoid accident. بتمنع الانحناء وبالتالي بتمنع الحوادث. So now here there is no space. Why? Because it's in the summer day. In summer days, the two parts of the bridge or the two parts of the railway track meet each other because they expand without bending. يبقى بنسيب مسافة محسوبة طبعا. أكيد الانجينيرز مهندسين السيفل انجينير مهندسين المدنيين بيحسبوها كويس جدا عشان يحسب هيحصل قد ايه اكسبانجن او تمدد، فبالتالي بيسيب مسافه قدها بالظبط عشان ما يحصلش اكسبانجن وما يحصلش bending and thus prevent accident. So now here is a question. Spaces are left between railway tracks to avoid bending or buckling or twisting that cause accident. That's the give reason question. So the answer will be that. الإجابة هتكون give reason. Why? Because iron expand by heating. Because iron expand by heating. لأن الحديد بيتمدد بالحرارة. مش بس الحديد لكن معظم الماتيريالز أو كل الميتالز كمان، كل الميتال لكن معظم الماتيريال ومعظم المواد التانية expand by heat. بتتمدد بالحرارة. So now we have a very important and easy point at the same time. نقطة مهمة جدا وسهلة جدا في نفس الوقت. The use of good conductors of heat and also bad conductor. We use the good conductor in manufacturing of cooking pots and tea boilers such as aluminum. Also, we use iron in the cooking pots and also tea boiler. And also copper. Copper, I said that it's the best metal. هو أحسن معدن في توصيل الحرارة. Is used in cooking pots also and tea boilers. And also stainless steel is used in cooking pots and tea boilers. So we can summarize all the material which are good conductor of heat are used in one use, which is good conductor of heat. They are used in the cooking pots and tea boiler. بستخدمهم في أواني الطهي وكمان أواني الغلايات أو البراد as we know. So again, all the material which are good conductor of heat are used in cooking pots and tea boiler. So what about the bad conductor of heat? The bad conductor of heat are used in another way. بتستخدم بطريقة تانية خالص because they are used in making the handles of cooking pots and also the handles of tea boiler. So let us see this use of bad conductor. Look here. Plastic and wood, for example, they are used in making handles of cooking pots and kettles, and also the utensils. They are used in making handles of cooking pots, kettles, and utensils. Also, the wool, الصوف كمان بنعتبره bad conductor. هو مادة قيمة جدا لأنها bad conductor because it's used in making heavy clothes and the blanket. بستخدمها في صناعة الملابس الثقيلة وكمان البطاطين. And also we consider بنعتبر الوول bad conductor not good conductor. Again هي نقطة مهمة جدا ممكن نقع فيها. الوول أو الصوف هو bad conductor. ازاي ده بيدفينا في الشتاء؟ لا هو bad conductor عشان بيعمل insulating للحرارة اللي جوه جسمي اللي هي higher في الحالة ديت في الشتاء عن أي حرارة تانية outside the body اللي هي في الحالة دي lower than the body. So again wool is a bad conductor not good conductor. wool أو الصوف بعتبره bad conductor not good conductor. So now ملاحظة مهمة جدا بعتبرها ان heavy clothes الملابس الثقيلة and the blankets are bad conductor of heat because they are used in winter to keep the body warm. Again, heavy clothes and the blankets are bad conductors of heat because they are used in winter to keep the body warm. So let us make a comparison to finish this lesson, lesson 1, which deal with heat conduction. Make a comparison between heat conductors and heat insulator or bad conductor of heat. Look here. First, we make a comparison between the definition of each one of them. نعمل مقارنة. عشان نعمل مقارنة قلنا أكتر من مرة بعمل table، وأول مقارنة بتهمني جدا الديفينيشن الخاص بكل واحد منهم. Good conductor of heat, they are materials that conduct heat and let heat flow through. Again, they are materials that conduct heat and let heat flow through. So what about bad conductor? They are materials that don't conduct heat and don't let heat flow through. Okay, so another point of comparison, the use or the example of good conductor and also the examples of bad conductor. Good conductors such as copper, aluminum, iron, stainless steel. Bad conductors such as glass, wood, paper, wool, air, liquids, and rubber, and so on. The last point of comparison is that the use of each one of them. استخدام كل واحد منهم. Good conductor of heat such as making cooking pans, tea boilers, and tea bottles. But so what about bad conductor? Making the handles مقبض أو يد الحلل, cooking pans أو أواني الطهي. And also we use bad conductors such as wool in making heavy clothes or woolen clothes. Again, heavy clothes or woolen clothes. So now we have a very important give reason question about what we have studied in lesson 1 of unit 2, which is heat conduction. First question says that copper differs from iron in conducting heat. الكوبر بيختلف عن الايرون in conducting heat. ليه الكوبر بيختلف عن الايرون? Because we know copper is the best metal in conducting heat, so we can say that because iron is considered a conductor while wood is considered as an insulator or a bad conductor. يبقى لما يقول لي سؤال for example بيقارن بين الكوبر والوود او الايرون والوود, we can say الكوبر هو ايه والوود برضه هو ايه. We have studied that iron is a good conductor but wood is a bad conductor of it. يبقى لما يقول لي differ from بيختلف عنه في ايه, انا كانه هنا عايز ينبهني او يقول لي ده ايه وده ايه. We again have studied that iron is a good conductor but wood is a bad conductor of it. Another question, wearing heavy clothes in winter. Wearing heavy clothes in winter. ليه بنلبس heavy clothes in winter? Because as we know heavy clothes is a bad conductor of heat. Again, heavy clothes are made of wood, are made of wool, are made of wool. هي مصنوعة من الصوف, and wool and heavy clothes are bad conductor of heat. Another question. This question says that electric iron handle, يعني يد المكوى الكهربائية, is made of plastic. Again, electric iron handle is made of plastic because we know the plastic is a bad conductor of heat. Because again, the plastic is a bad conductor of heat. Another question. So another question deal with the next lesson. By this point, we have finished lesson 1, which is heat conduction. And in this lesson, I don't think we have learned so much. أعتقد درس ده ما اتعلمناش حاجات كتيرة because we have learned many points of this lesson in primary 4. حاجات كتير قوي كانت مقررة من primary 4, good conductor, bad conductor, and all the uses of them. But in the second lesson, we will learn more and more about how to measure temperature, about the idea of making thermometer, about the type of thermometer, and so on. يبقى الدرس التاني النهارده هنتكلم عنه درس ريتش جدا, غني جدا بالمعلومات. عشان كده هنعرف معلومات قيمه جدا فيه ازاي نقيس الحراره accurately بدقه, وانواع الترمومتر, وايه هي فكره الترمومتر بالتحديد. So now let us have this question to start this lesson. Can we measure temperature by touch? ممكن نقيس الحراره by touch باللمس like that? No, surely not. Why? Because sense of touch حاسة اللمس is not accurate, مش دقيقة. So how can we measure temperature also? Or of course we can measure temperature by the thermometer. So how can the thermometer measure the temperature? ازاي الترمومتر بيقيس الحرارة? So again we cannot depend on the sense of touch because sense of touch is not accurate. هي مش دقيقة. Again because sense of touch is not accurate. هي مش دقيقة. So we can use what? We can use only the thermometer. We can use the thermometer to measure temperature. So the device that measures temperature accurately is the thermometer. Okay? So now let us make a definition for thermometer. هعمل definition للترمومتر. قلت أكتر من مرة بنحب أوي الطالب الكرييتيف, الطالب المبدع, الطالب الشاطر المجتهد جدا اللي بيعمل definition from his own mind, من دماغه هو شخصيا. Thermometer, I can say it's a device that is used to measure the temperature. It's a device, هو جهاز used to measure temperature, بيستخدم لقياس الحرارة. That's all. Full stop after that. Okay? Thermometer again is a device that is used to measure the temperature. And now the main idea of the thermometer, ازاي بيشتغل الترمومتر او ايه فكرته. احنا عارفين كويس قوي ان الترمومتر inside it في جواه a liquid which is called mercury سائل. And we know that liquid expand by heating and contract by cooling. أي liquid أو all liquid أو most liquid expand by heating بيتمدد بالحرارة and contract by cooling. So now let us have a very short video and a very important video at the same time to show how the thermometer is made. ازاي عملنا الترمومتر أو ايه فكرة شغله أو ازاي يشتغل الترمومتر أو ازاي اتعمل الترمومتر. So now let us have this video. Look here. This video illustrates what is the operation of the thermometer. Okay, this video is called expansion and contraction of the thermometer of the liquid. Okay, look here. I have a very small bottle like this, and I will put in this bottle some liquid. I will put in this bottle some liquid like that. Okay, and show what happened when I put this bottle in hot water and what happened when I put it in cold water. اللي هيحصل لما بحط البوتل دي في hot water اللي هيحصل look what happened. It will expand the water inside. It will expand. So again, what happened if I put it in cold water اللي يحصل لما احطها في cold water. It will contract. يحصل لها contract. Again, in hot water it will expand. In cold water it will contract. Okay, so again, in cold water it will contract. In hot water it will expand. Okay, so that's the main idea of thermometer. دي بقى فكرة الترمومتر بتاعتنا. We can summarize it in a very important sentence. جملة مهمة جدا لازم أعرفها كويس قوي. إيه اللي بيحصل في الليكويد لما بعمل له heating أو لما بعمل له cooling. We can say that liquid, okay, liquid expand by what? Expand by heating. الليكويد بيتمدد بالحرارة. And contract by cooling. وبينكمش بالبرودة. Again, what happened to liquid on heating and on cooling? Liquid expand by heating and contract by cooling. Liquid expand by heating again and contract by cooling. And this is the main idea of thermometer. دي بقى فكرة الترمومتر ازاي بيشتغل. ان جواه liquid. When I put the thermometer in very hot thing like a patient mouse, for example, مثلا فم المريض, what happened to the mercury inside? It will expand so I can measure temperature. What happened when I put the thermometer in a very cold something? It will contract and also I will measure temperature. So I can measure temperature by what? By the effect of heat, بتأثير الحرارة on the mercury, على الميركوري أو الزئبق. So again, I can measure temperature by the effect of heat on the mercury, which will expand by heating and will contract by cooling. So again, the main idea of the thermometer is that liquid expand by heating and contract by cooling. Again, it's a very important idea. نقطة مهمة جدا أو فكرة مهمة جدا in our lesson today is that the liquid inside the thermometer, السائل اللي جوه الترمومتر بيحصل له إيه؟ It will expand by heating and contract by cooling. It will expand when it's heated. لما بيتسخن بيحصل له expand أو بيتمدد. And it will contract بينكمش when it's cool. لما بيبرد أو نحطه في أي حاجة cold أو باردة بيحصل له انكماش. So again, that's the main idea of the thermometer. We can say that the liquid expands by heating and contract by cooling. Again, liquid expand by heating and contract by cooling. So that's a very important idea of the thermometer. So now, let's study type of thermometer. We will study two type of thermometer. هناخد نوعين من الترمومتر هما clinical or medical thermometer. الترمومتر الطبي هنسميه medical أو clinical. هنسميه تاني medical أو clinical. And also the Celsius thermometer والترمومتر المئوي. What difference between them? إيه الفرق بينهم? What's the difference? We will study them in details. هدرسهم إن شاء الله بالتفصيل. Again, we have two type of thermometer this year. عندنا نوعين من الترمومتر. Medical thermometer and also Celsius thermometer. Medical thermometer and also Celsius thermometer. So now, let's start with the medical one. نبدأ بالترمومتر الطبي. هو الأكثر شيوعا في حياتنا. أكيد هنلاقيه في البيت. ممكن كمان في المدرسة. في العيادات أكيد أو في عيادة المدرسة and so on. So now we have the medical thermometer. It consists of what? It consists of a very important part which is here. هنا في جزء مهم جدا بنسميه mercury pulp. mercury pulp أو خزان الزئبق أو مستودع الزئبق. هو عبارة عن تيوب ضيقة جدا لكن already filled with mercury. مليانة بالميركوري، مليانة بالزئبق. and also a very narrow tube، أنبوبة ضيقة جدا بنسميها capillary tube. كلمة أول مرة يمكن نسمعها، capillary tube اللي هي لونها أصفر غالبا هنا، اللون دوت. أوكي. This is called the capillary tube. And also a very wide tube، أنبوبة واسعة شوية، which is called transparent thick glass tube. هي اللي من بره دي أنا شايفها، دي بنسميها transparent thick glass tube. يبقى عندنا mercury pulp، capillary tube، transparent thick glass tube، أنبوبة زجاجية شفافة لكن سميكة برضه عشان ما تتكسرش بسهولة. and also a very important part، جزء مهم قوي جدا، مهم هنا في الميديكال ثيرمومتر، هنسميه constriction، اختناق. يعني ايه اختناق؟ يعني التيوب الضيقة ديت، الأنبوبة الضيقة اللي سميناها capillary تيوب، هي اوريدي مش ماشية ستريت لاين كده، لا هي راحت كده ورجعت تاني شوية. يعني في هنا كده constriction، اختناق، ليه وظيفة مهمة جدا. ايه وظيفته؟ انه prevent mercury، بيمنع الميركوري from going back، انه يرجع تاني when the measure or when on measuring temperature. For example, if I measure temperature of a patient، لو بقيس حرارة مريض and the temperature of the patient for example is 39. Okay, when I take out the thermometer from the patient mouth، لما خرج الترمومتر، surely the temperature or the mercury will contract as we have seen in the short video. So how can I measure temperature accurately؟ يعني لما اشيل الترمومتر من فم المريض الحراره هتنزل. طب ازاي ما خليهاش تنزل؟ هنعمل حاجه هنا اسمها constriction، يعني التيوب تبقى ضيقه شويه تخلي الميركوري يطلع لكن ما ينزلش. It allows the mercury to go up not falling down easily، تخلي الميركوري يطلع لفوق لكن ما ينزلش بسهوله. So again there is a very important structure in the medical thermometer. في حاجه مهمه جدا موجوده في الميديكال ثيرمومتر او الترمومتر الطبي لكن مش موجوده في الترمومتر التاني اللي هو هنسميه سيلزس. ايه هي؟ هنسميها constriction. constriction يعني اختناق، ليها وظيفه مهمه جدا، هي prevent mercury، انها بتمنع الميركوري from going back quickly، انه ما يرجعش بسهوله او بسرعه. So I can measure temperature accurately. So again there is a very important part، في جزء مهم قوي في الميديكال ثيرمومتر هنسميه constriction and its function، its rule، دوره او وظيفته is to prevent mercury from going back quickly and so it give me the opportunity، يديني فرصه to read the temperature accurately، عشان اقرا الترمومتر بدقه. So again that the medical or the clinical thermometer it consists of 4 main parts، بيكون 4 اجزاء رئيسيين هم mercury pulp، مستودع الزئبق، capillary tube، انبوبه شعريه بنسميها كده بالعربي capillary tube لانها فعلا او يعني تقريبا بحجم الشعره، رفيعه جدا جدا جدا، عشان كده بنسميها capillary tube او انبوبه شعريه. and also thick transparent glass tube، انبوبه زجاجيه سميكه شفافه في نفس الوقت، اللي هي من بره انا شايفها كويس قوي، اللي عليها الديجريز او الماركس الدرجات. and also a very important part which is the constriction او الاختناق. So now let us see the structure of the thermometer. Look here, or we can now have a definition for the medical thermometer. ممكن اعمل definition للميديكال thermometer. I can say it is a thermometer that is used to measure the temperature of the human being. هو الثرمومتر اللي بيستخدم لقياس درجة الحرارة. Again, it is the thermometer that is used to measure the temperature of the human being. Also again, medical thermometer هو الترمومتر اللي بيقيس حرارة الإنسان. عشان كده هقول عليه is a thermometer that is used to measure the temperature of the human being. So now, another picture for this thermometer, the medical or the clinical thermometer, and also the structure. Its structure, it consists of 4 main parts. قلنا بيتكون من 4 أجزاء رئيسيين هما transparent thick glass tube، أنبوبة زجاجية شفافة سميكة. capillary tube، دي أهم حاجة فيه أو جزء مهم جدا فيه. capillary tube أنبوبة شعرية. mercury pulp، وده مستودع الزئبق اللي بيكون فيه الميركوري. and also the most important part، أهم جزء في الثرمومتر هو constriction، الاختناق اللي ما بيسمحش الميركوري انه يرجع بسهوله، فاقدر اقرا الثرمومتر بسهوله. عشان كده نقطه مهمه جدا بنلاحظها في الثرمومتر، ما ينفعش استخدمه الا لما اعمل له شيكينج اكتر مره، لازم اهزه كتير جدا عشان ارجع الميركوري مره ثانيه للبدايه. So again it consists of 4 main parts which are transparent thick glass tube and also capillary tube. Number 3 the mercury pulp. Number 4 the most important part which is the constriction. And also I said that we must shake thermometer strongly before using it. لازم اهزه كتير جدا to force mercury back عشان نرجع الميركوري مره ثانيه للاول خالص فينفع اقيس مره ثانيه بيه. So again mercury pulp and constriction capillary tube and also the thick transparent glass tube. They are all the components of the thermometer, which is called the medical thermometer. So now let us have a look on this thermometer to know the degrees or the scale of this thermometer. عايز أعرف تدريجه من كام لكام، ودي الأرقام دي بالذات. Look here, it will start from 35 Celsius، بيبدأ من درجة بنسميها أو تقريبا هي 35 and ends at 42 Celsius. So why are those strange degrees؟ دي الدرجات الغريبة ديت. We know that temperature of the human body، حرارة الإنسان الطبيعي هي 37. But what happens if it less or it will be less than this and becomes 36? The man will be alive. If it becomes 35, the man will be dead. يعني ممكن الإنسان حرارته تنزل تبقى 36 أوكي، لكن 35 بيحصل blood coagulation أو blood clot تجلط في الدم فالإنسان بيموت. So what happens if the temperature increased to 38? Okay, 39 he will be patient. 40, 41 also he will be very patient، هيبقى مريض جدا. But what happens if it reaches 42 degrees or 42 Celsius? It will cause to death. معناها 42 معناها الإنسان لا قدر الله توفى أو مات. يبقى حرارة الإنسان الطبيعي هي 37، عشان كده بنبدأ الميديكال ثيرمومتر من 35 لغاية 42. So again the medical thermometer start from 35 Celsius and ends at 42 Celsius. But the normal temperature is what? Normal temperature is 37, as we know from our previous study in primary 4. So now the structure of the medical thermometer is very easy, and I warn you, I advise you. Okay, I advise you، بنصحكم ان الترمومتر ده لا اكيد طبعا الترمومتر ليه صوره، المخرج بيسال هل ليه صوره؟ اكيد طبعا ليه صوره لما ندرسه ان شاء الله. استاذ مؤمن معانا حالا دلوقتي. اوكي طيب بنصح كل الطلبه ان احنا بنعمل ليبلنج لكل الدايجرامات لكل الرسومات اللي عندنا. يعني انا مش مطلوب مني ارسم الترمومتر، لكن مطلوب مني اعمل ليبلنج للترمومتر، يعني مطلوب مني احط عليه البيانات بس. قلنا اكتر مره ان ميديكال ثرمومتر ليه 4 بيانات او 4 ليبلنج، هم mercury pulp, capillary tube, transparent thick glass tube, and also the constriction. So now the medical thermometer has a very important part, which is called what? Which is called constriction, and this part is used to what? To prevent mercury from going back, and thus I can read the temperature accurately, or I can summarize, or I can simplify. ممكن ألخصها بشكل صغير شوية أقول constriction prevent mercury from going back. بس إجابة كويسة جدا ومختصرة جدا وصح جدا. I can say the constriction prevent the mercury from going back. Okay, so again the scale of medical thermometer starts from what to what? From 35 to 42 Celsius as we have studied or as we have seen. زي ما شفناها حالا في الفيديو. Again the scale of the medical thermometer starts from 35 to 42 Celsius. Each degree is divided into 10 parts equal 1 over 10 degree. كل درجة بنقسمها أو متقسمة already ل 10 بارتس او 10 درجات او 10 اجزاء من الدرجه اللي بنسميها كده باللغه العاميه شرطه. عشان كده ممكن نسمع واحد يقول حراره الانسان 37 وشرطتين، معناها 0.2، يعني كأن معناها كده 2 من 10 من الدرجه. عشان كده الترمومتر الطبي very accurate، دقيق جدا جدا جدا. اوكي so now how to use medical thermometer. انا عارف ان المخرج متضايق شويه عشان طولنا في الميديكال، لكن اوريدي هو اهم فعلا في منهجنا. ازاي استخدم medical thermometer؟ we have many important procedures، اجراءات مهمه جدا عشان نستخدم medical thermometer. Let's start with them. Number 1 sterilize by ethyl alcohol. لازم اطهره بالكحول الايثيلي. طب اوريدي لو ما عنديش كحول ايثيلي I can use any perfume. بستخدم اي perfume to sterilize the ethyl alcohol or sterilize the thermometer by ethyl alcohol. Number 2 dry by tissue paper. بجففه بمنديل او ورق مناديل عشان طبعا اكيد الالكحول ممكن يسيب اثر مش كويس. Number 3 shake the thermometer. That's a very important procedure. نقطة مهمة جدا. shake thermometer until mercury goes back. لازم اهزه اكتر مرة لغاية ما اتاكد تماما ان الميركوري رجع تاني لقبل 35 او للستارتنج بوينت اوف ذا thermometer. Again shake the thermometer until mercury goes back to the pulp. بهزه اكتر مرة عشان ارجعه تاني للبالب. Number 4 put it under the tongue for a minute. بحطه تحت اللسان مش فوق اللسان في فم المريض for a minute or two لمدة دقيقة أو دقيقتين. Number 5 get it out and read it. هقراه. Number 6 sterilize again by ethyl alcohol. بطهره مرة تانية بالكحول الإيثيلي. Number 7 put it in its box. برجعه تاني للصندوق أو علبته الأصلية عشان ما يتكسرش، لأنه خطر جدا إنه يتكسر. هنعرف بعد شوية ليه. So now we have a nota bina، ملاحظة مهمة جدا. Don't seize the thermometer، ما تدوسش عليه أكتر من مرة أو تدوسش عليه بقوة جدا firmly with your teeth in order not to break، عشان ما يتكسرش. طب لو اتكسر يعني إيه المشكلة؟ يعني هو مش غالي قوي. لا، هي المشكلة مش موضوع سعر because mercury is a toxic or poisonous material. الميركوري اللي جوه الثرمومتر على الرغم إن هو مادة valuable جدا، قيمة جدا في قياس الحرارة، لكن هي في نفس الوقت سامة. poisonous toxic، هي مادة سامة that may cause to this، ممكن تسبب الوفاة. So again don't seize the thermometer firmly with your teeth in order not to break، عشان ما تكسروش because mercury is poisonous or toxic material. So now let us have a picture for this. If this happen, please don't swallow the milk. لو حصل والthermometer gets broken، اتكسر inside the mouth patient، we advise the patient not to swallow the milk. اوعى تبلع mercury ابدا، نصيحة مهمة جدا because mercury is a toxic or is a poisonous material، مادة سامة، مادة خطرة جدا في نفس الوقت. So now the thermometer must be vertical and the direction of the sight must be horizontal during reading the temperature. الترمومتر لازم يكون vertical عشان أقرأ الحرارة بسهولة جدا. So now let us have another type of thermometer which is digital. Digital displays the temperature digitally، بيعرض الحرارة بشكل رقمي، لكن ما عندناش تركيبه في منهجنا، احنا عندنا بس الميديكال and the Celsius one. So now let us have the second type، النوع الثاني هنسميه Celsius thermometer أو الترمومتر المئوي. It is the thermometer that is used to measure temperature of liquid. ده بستخدمه عشان اقيس بيه حرارة الليكويد and also the atmosphere، وكمان حرارة الجو. And here is the picture or the image of this thermometer. Okay, look here. It starts from 0 Celsius، بيبدأ من الزيرو and ends at 100 Celsius، بينتهي عند 100 وربما كمان more than this، ربما يوصل ل 200. In this thermometer I will find it's very similar to the last one. هو شبه جدا الميديكال، لكن الفرق الوحيد بينهم انه ملهوش constriction، ما عندوش اختناق عشان مش محتاجه. I don't need it. I put this thermometer in liquid such as milk, such as juice, such as anything to measure temperature of the liquids only and atmosphere, not the animals. ما بستخدموش الحيوانات لانه برضه خطر جدا ان الميركوري toxic material. So again this thermometer is used for what? Used for measuring temperature of the liquid and the atmosphere. Look here, it's another picture. It started from what? It started from 0 Celsius and maybe less than this. هنا بيبدأ من -10 أو -10، يعني أقل من 0 كمان، and reaches 100 Celsius or more than this، ممكن كمان أكتر من كده، 110 120 200 300 and so on. لكن السكيل التدريج النورمال بالنسبة لنا هو من 0 ل 100 سلسيوس، من 0 ل 100 سلسيوس، عشان كده سميناه الترمومتر المئوي لأنه بينتهي عند 100 درجة مئوية. Okay, so this thermometer is called what? This thermometer is called Celsius thermometer، بسميه Celsius على اسم العالم اللي عمل الترمومتر. Its structure is similar to the medical one. تركيبه مشابه جدا للميديكال للطبي، لكن الفرق الوحيد ان ما فيهوش constriction. Number 1 transparent thick glass tube. Number 2 capillary tube. Number 3 mercury pulp. Again, transparent thick glass tube, capillary tube closed from one of its end and connected to the mercury pulp, and also the mercury pulp at last. Here is no constriction. انا ما عنديش اي اختناق خالص لاني مش محتاج له. نوتة بينا، ملاحظة مهمة جدا. The scale of the Celsius thermometer start from 0 Celsius and ends at 100 Celsius. بيبدأ من 0 بينتهي عند 100، لكن الميديكال كان بيبدأ من 35 and ends at 42. Okay? The Celsius thermometer has no constriction. Why or give reason? Because I don't need it. مش محتاج له. Again, Celsius thermometer has no constriction. ما فيهوش أي اختناق. The Swedish scientist أندرس سيليزيوس، العالم الشهير جدا أندرس سيليزيوس، created this Celsius scale in 1747. مهم قوي نعرف اسماء العلماء لان هم اللي خدموا البشريه بجد. Again, Swedish scientist Andres Celsius created this Celsius thermometer or Celsius scale in 1747. And now we must know that he considered the 0 Celsius as the melting point of ice. ليه هو بدأ من الزيرو لغاية 100؟ لأنه الزيرو بنعتبره melting point of ice، يعني بعتبر درجة انصهار الثلج عند الزيرو فعلا. And also the boiling point of water is 100. He considered also 100 Celsius is the boiling point of water. So Celsius you choose two main important degrees، استخدم درجتين مهمين جدا هما 0 و 100. ليه دول بالذات؟ لأن 0 هو melting point of ice، لكن 100 هي البويلنج بوينت اوف ووتر، يعني من بدايه الثلج او من اول ما يتكون الثلج يتحول لميه هي دي زيرو. لما الميه تتحول للجاس او يحصل لها ايفابوريشن هو ده ال 100. عشان كده سيلزيوس استخدم ال 2 degrees دول عشان يعمل بيهم الثرمومتر بتاعه. So now we have studied everything about unit 2. We have studied heat conduction توصيل الحراره, and also we have studied what's the main difference between good conductor and the bad conductor. Good conductor again are material that conduct heat and let heat flow through, but bad conductor are material that don't conduct heat and don't let heat flow through. Give me example. مهم قوي example. انا عارف ان كل الميتال good conductor such as what? Such as iron, copper, nickel, sodium, potassium, gold, silver, any metal you have studied. Even if mercury, حتى الميركوري كمان بعتبره good conductor لانه اوريدي هو كمان ميتال. وعندنا سؤال مهم جدا للميركوري. ليه بستخدم ميركوري بالذات في الترمومتر؟ Because we know that mercury is a very good conductor material and it's a regular expanding material and also it can be seen easily. سؤال مهم جدا ليه بستخدم ميركوري في الترمومتر؟ Because it's a very important metal that conducts heat. يبقى درسنا حاجات مهمة جدا النهارده. رجعنا على كل unit 2 which is the heat conduction, and also we have studied the main difference between good conductor and bad conductor and the uses of each one of them, and also lesson 2 which is full of many valuable information. lesson 2 درس مهم جدا مليان بالمعلومات القيمة جدا. درسنا فيه type of thermometer انواع الترمومترات. درسنا فيه خاصية مهمة جدا بتحصل للليكويد، هي ان الليكويد expand by heat and contract by cooling، بيتمدد بالحراره وينكمش بالبروده. ودي الفكره اللي استخدمها سيلسيوس او اندريس سيلسيوس انه يعمل ازاي ثرمومتر، عشان كده حط جواه ليكويد زي الميركوري عشان يحصل له expanding when it is heated and contracting when it's cooling. So now I have a very important give reason question. This question says that give reason, okay. Mercury is used. ليه بستخدم ميركوري بالذات؟ يعني ميركوري is used in making thermometer. ليه بستخدم ميركوري تحديدا؟ اوكي. Now let us see this question on the monitor. هنشوف الإجابة على المونيتور. اوكي. The question says that why mercury is preferred. ليه بفضل ميركوري عن أي سائل تاني؟ هل ممكن أستخدم water, oil, alcohol، أي liquid تاني؟ Surely not. Mercury is the best conducting or the best liquid which is used in thermometer because we have many reasons such as what? Such as number one, it's a liquid metal. هو الوحيد اللي metal وفي نفس الوقت liquid. عشان كده can be seen easily لأن هو لونه silvery، لونه فضي واضح جدا. can be seen easily from the glass tube. يبقى number one, it's a liquid metal that can be seen easily and also it's a good conductor of heat. هو موصل جيد للحرارة and also it's a regular expanding material and at last it doesn't stick to the glass tube of the thermometer. So now by this question I am afraid I have reached the end of this episode, and I hope to meet again next week inshallah, next Thursday, to have another lesson of new unit which is unit 3 that deal with gases which we have studied before in primary 4, and we will start inshallah with the first lesson which is the oxygen gas. And now thank you and goodbye.